know what it is, how down and how low you can feel to want to take your own life. You know, when I heard about,
So sad. So sad.
it seemed like this girl is pretty well known around the area because everybody that I knew around here was talking about it.
Everybody was touched by it.
And in a small town, it's obviously not something that's too common, especially where everybody knows everybody. And, you know, the whole time I just kept thinking to myself, you know, who was around her? Was there anybody around her that she could come to?
Just think about it afterwards.
Did she go to church? And all those questions going through my head because, you know, I've been down. I've been pretty down before, maybe close to that. But, you know, I'm always able to get picked back up.
Yeah.
And that's through the Lord. And I'm not talking about just going to prayer. I'm talking about the things that the Lord has given me that I couldn't trade for anything, that I couldn't just throw my life away for. You know, I believe I've actually found my salvation, that I've got it. The Lord has blessed me with 2 children. And let me tell you, if this world stands long enough, I've got work to do with them. Because they're going to reach the same age that I did one time. And they're going to realize that they're in sin. You know, I've got a wife and I've got a church here. I've got a lot of responsibility. And, you know, I took on this preaching thing not too long ago. And I feel like I've got a job to do, and as long as I'm able to breathe, I'm going to breathe. And as long as I'm able to talk, I'm going to preach. As long as I'm able to sing, I'm going to sing.
That's right.
Because there's a lot more. There's a lot more than coming to fill a seat. There's a lot more than just coming out to the church.
Yeah.
There's work to be done.
Yeah, there's a reason.
You know, the Lord never said anywhere in this Bible here that I hold that it's going to be easy. And let me tell you, I found out that there's nothing easy about it. There's temptation around every corner. There's always that little voice in your head telling you you've got better things to do. Play a lot of tricks on you. You know, we live in a world, a cruel little world here, brethren. We live in a cruel world where there's sickness and all kinds of affliction. You know, I've seen here on the prayer list, Carol's friend, I'm talking about dementia there.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand a lot of times. It runs in my family. You don't know how bad that I fear that one day that I'm going to wake up and not know my family. Because I've seen a lot of people in my own family, you know, just one day start not to remember anybody. You know, I would go and visit my great-grandmother from time to time with my grandfather there, and half the time when I was growing up, every time I come through the door, she would be making chicken, asking me if I wanted a sandwich, calling me by name, calling me little old Shadrach. But as I got older, there was a time I'd go in that house. She didn't even know my grandfather there, her own son.
Right.
She didn't know me. She'd never heard of me. She thought I was just a stranger. But let me tell you, she still had a little bit of goodness in her. She always wanted to offer me some kind of food at least. You know, I see a lot of those stones just being thrown at people all the time. You know, you got this girl here who gave up her life, no doubt because she was having some problems. I've seen a lot of afflictions. You've seen a lot of afflictions. And if you haven't faced them yet, which I'm sure you all have, you're going to see them more than likely when you leave here today. Every corner it seems like we've got problems. And you know, those stones, no matter how hard they're thrown at you, it's best to be like Stephen there. You know, just keep preaching on. Keep on looking up. You're going to see my Lord Listen, you know, you're going to close your eyes in death here one day. But if you've got my Lord, you're going to open them in heaven's land there. And that's what it's all about this morning. You know, why do so many people, let me tell you, my Lord, He'll come to you, you call out. Sometimes you don't even have to call out, because let me tell you, brother, He found me before I ever found Him. He was working on me before I ever thought about Him. You know, not too long ago, and this has been on my mind since yesterday. I talked to my best friend yesterday morning, and the first time in about 7 months. He was the best friend I ever had. He still lives up in Kentucky there, and his name is Chris. You know, the whole time we were growing up, we were mistaken for brothers so much because we were always with each other. We lived with each other. Either he was at my house or I was at his. We would take weeks going back and forth. You know, and we were into so much mischief and so much trouble when we were younger. It seemed like every day we was getting caught up in something, and rightfully so. But you know, when he met him a girl not too long ago, and they had a little girl, and you know, they were down at Pikeville Hospital there, and when that baby was born, it was born with Down syndrome there, and had a heart condition. You know, he called me, didn't know where else to turn. He wasn't in the church, didn't know a whole lot about it, but he knew that I had just started preaching, and he called me there and he said, Shad, I need your help. I said, what is it, buddy? And he said, his little girl, she was born with Down syndrome, choking back tears. He was asking me, Shad, do you think that she's ever going to have that problem like I do right now? Do you think that she's ever going to know that she's doing wrong? Do you think that she's going to have a chance to go to hell? And I told him, I said, Chris, let me tell you, that little girl right now is as perfect as God wants her to be, and she's not going to change. Let me tell you, that's I know there's going to be problems, and she's going to have some issues growing up, but that's the most important thing. And I told him, Chris, that's one thing you're not going to have to worry about. Well, he said, Shad, they said she's got a heart condition, and they're taking her out to the UK. Will you just pray for her? And he goes, I don't know what else to do. I feel so helpless. And you know, we've all been there.
Yes, we have.
It seems like I'm helpless with every problem that I encounter. But you know, they took her out to the UK, and I made some phone calls. I called Brother Jason because I knew where he went to church up there in Lexington. He called Chris and asked him if he needed anything. Jason was there to just offer a hand of anything. Didn't even know the boy. That's what my brothers and sisters do this morning. You know, he was offering a hand to somebody he didn't even know. And you know, they done a lot of praying there. He called Fred Neely and a lot of those brothers out there. They done a lot of praying. And you know, there in Pikeville, they showed him as plain as day. This is the heart problem that your little girl's got. It's easy to tell that she's got Down syndrome here from all the characteristics of her. You know, they took her out. They took her out there to UK, and they done some tests on her heart. And no doubt, I call it a miracle of the Lord. You know, they came back to Chris there and they said, we couldn't find any problems with your daughter, not with her heart. She does have Down syndrome, but that fatal heart problem they were talking about, it wasn't even there. And you know, I talked to Chris and I was telling him, that should tell you something right there.
That's right.
That's what prayer does, my friend. You know, and he went on. I'm guessing he fought it for a while, I'm not for sure. But he kind of quit talking to me about it. It kind of burned out just a little bit. But no, yesterday I talked to him, and I heard one of the prettiest things I think I've ever heard. Let me tell you, that little girl with Down syndrome, she has been a savior to this family. Let me tell you why. Because I grew up around this family my whole life. none of them in church. They all proclaimed to believe in the Lord, but none of them went to church when they had that scare with that little girl. Let me tell you, it didn't take long for Garrett, his dad, to go running to a church. It didn't take long for his mom and his sisters to run on out, and they're all in church now. Every single one of them, but you know, except for Chris there, you know, and Chris, I talked to him yesterday. And I know what it's like. I was just the same way as him. I fight it as long as I could. But you know, I talked to him yesterday, and I seen that they had some problems with his little girl. He said that it was like she was choking, and it was going on for days and days. She couldn't swallow anything without spitting it back up. And you know, she kept drooling just because she just couldn't swallow. So we took her to Pikeville Hospital there. And I don't know what it is about this hospital. I guess I should probably hush about it, but they told him there's nothing wrong with her that we can see. So he took her back home, and she just kept getting worse, it seemed. And you know, his wife there, or his girlfriend, whatever she is, she was checking the baby's airway, and she was sticking her fingers in there. And you know, they'll tell you now that that's not a good thing, that you'll push anything a little lower. You know, so she's reaching in there trying to see if she can feel anything, and she can't feel anything. So Chris, as scared as he was, you know how helpless we feel with things like that with our children. He took her back out to the hospital. And you know, they were in that waiting room, and there come Chris's dad and his brother who's a preacher now. And you know, they held a little prayer over that baby there in front of all those people there in that hospital. And let me tell you, I've never heard a story. I've never seen a person that the Lord knocked so hard on. Let me tell you, it took, Chris said it took about 5 minutes. And after a few days of being like that, that little baby coughed up a Hershey's wrapper, a full Hershey's wrapper. About 5 minutes after they prayed over that baby. I don't know what it is that holds people back. But my Lord's real this morning. How many times that I've seen things like that happen. I've seen it with my own wife. You know, I can see the Lord in so many things. When I first held my little girl, I seen the Lord. You know, when I first held my little boy, I seen the Lord and the things that He'll do for you. When my wife came back and that kidney had started repairing itself, I seen the Lord. And you know, the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen, and I've seen the Lord in it, is when you come out to the church. And I believe it was just like Roy or whoever that, whatever his name is, that was visiting us. When you could get up here and just, you didn't even have to say anything. And you could look at Roy and just see the tears flowing. And let me tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't like to see a grown man cry.
Somebody's talking now.
But I like to see, that's what I like to see. If you come out to the church and you're so brokenhearted,
that's right,
that it don't take but just sitting down in your seat and looking forward for the tears to start flowing. Let me tell you, I've been there, and that's where it starts. If you're that brokenhearted, let me tell you, a doctor's not going to be able to fix it. You're not going to be able to go to the hospital and tell them how you're feeling, and they'll tell you what's wrong with you. Because believe me, I've been in the emergency room a few times when I was coming to the Lord because I thought I was dying. I thought I was depressed. I didn't know what was going on with me. But you know, if a person comes into the church and you feel that condemned that quick, let me tell you, you better be falling on your knees because my Lord's right there standing at the door.
What do you think stops you?
The
devil don't tell you to get out and go.
Well, let Chris come here.
Satisfy your heart.
Not really a time filler. For the longest time, I fought the Lord. You know how you drive down the road and you see the little churches that have the signs outside and have all the clever little sayings? I was driving by out here, and I think it might have been Pine Hill, I'm not for sure. But they had a pretty valid question on there for you to ask yourself. If you don't know the Lord today, it's a question you need to ask yourself. It asks, where would you be if the Lord came back 5 minutes ago?
Right.
Yeah.
Where would you be? And that can be a scary feeling, and if you don't know the Lord today,